Okay, sorry about that, everyone. I'm glad to see we're all back in here. So, how to get your prayers answered. So it's very important, especially in the time that we're in, a little big one. So imagine you live in like a very small town, which some of you might, and there's an extremely large pothole in front of your house. And for the last 4 or 5 months, you've been blowing your tire on it and you've been trying to get it fixed. And Shira, you're okay, fine. And so you're calling the local municipality, the government, whoever you can try and talk to get this fixed. Everyone's ignoring you, and you're persistent. You've been asking and asking and asking, and finally, out of pure frustration, you call the White House and you ask for the president because, why not? At this point, it's worth a try. And to your utter amazement, the president himself gets on the phone and you quickly explain your problem, and the president listens for just a minute. He takes down your address and then hangs up. You don't exactly expect anything because you just spoke to the president about a pothole in front of your house, but the next morning you wake up and you look out your window and lo and behold, a whole entire everyone you can imagine, engineers, anyone you could think of that would help to fix the problem is there working on the road in front of your house, fixing that pothole. The President of the United States just took your request seriously and sent people to actually fix that pothole. This is what it means to get your prayers answered. But we all know that that's just not going to happen to you or I. But who is the one person that could, no matter what, get the attention of the president? His child. So Hashem is like our president. We are his children. And just as a parent fulfills a child's request, so too Hashem answers our prayers. But in order to have Hashem answer your prayer, you need to know that he is willing to do so. And you have to be honest, sincere, and responsible about what you pray for. And even David HaMelech wrote, HaKarev Hashem lecho karo lecho asher yikarehu be'emet. God is close to all of those who call upon him and to all who call upon him sincerely and truthfully. Prayer requires assessing your inner self and being real with Hashem. Where you are and who you want and what you really want, it means dropping all pretenses, everything that's going on around you, communicating with him, being genuine with your needs and your thoughts, and in doing so, they're in God's presence. So why do we have to daven if Hashem already knows all of our needs? He certainly doesn't need us to remind him of them. So why do we do something like this? Why doesn't Hashem just give us what we need without us having to ask? Well, God doesn't need our prayers, but we ourselves, we do. Prayer is a reflection of our desires and an extension of our power of free choice. It helps us refine and affirm what it is we want in our life. It gives us a second thought, what we're really asking for. Because imagine if a billionaire father gave his child an unlimited amount of cash on a silver platter. The kid would grow up to be so spoiled and so irresponsible, but if God gave us everything automatically, we would never be forced to work out what we really want in life. Life would be so comfortable, we would remain shallow, so undeveloped, and so selfish. It's through the challenges that we face and the efforts that we make as a result of those challenges that we learn to appreciate the value of what we want. Our best interest at heart, and he wants us to grow because that is how we retain our independence and become real about what it is we want to accomplish. So, 5 different ways to be real with your prayer. 1, what is it you really want? So to get our prayers answered, we have to know that what we seek is in our best interests. Will the fulfillment of this request bring us closer to God, or is it just going to push us away? We can only expect God to answer our prayers if its attainment will bring us closer to reality, not push us farther away. So we need to make sure that that the things we are asking for won't bring us to do the wrong thing. To avoid this, we need to do the work of clarifying our desires. We need to ask ourselves, why do we want this? Does Hashem want us to have this? If Hashem's answer is yes, or if it's no, it always tells us something important about ourselves that will likely give us insight into the validity of what we are seeking. Before we ask, we have to make sure that what we're praying for is good for us. 2, being responsible, and we have to make an effort. Prayer is not an escape from a personal effort or responsibility. You can't just turn to Hashem and ask Him for something when you don't feel like doing it yourself. It's a tool to help us refine our understanding of what we want and realize that Hashem is the true source of all of that we accomplish. Prayer focuses us in on a reality of the situations that we're in, and if we are serious about what we are praying for, then we first need to be responsible and put in our best efforts to make it happen. Prayer is not a wish. It's not something that just happens by itself. It's predicated on working hard and taking responsibility of our actions. So ask yourself, do I really want to accomplish this? Am I willing to take the responsibility to do what I can? How much am I prepared to sacrifice for this? 3, accept the good. Being real about prayer means we realize about praying to Hashem, who wants what's only good for us and has the power to do anything. Therefore, we should anticipate that Hashem wants to help us. If we do not expect that God will answer our prayer, God will not invade our space and shock us with success. He wants us to earn the realization that He is our King, our Father, and is merely there for us, and we can always count on Him. By turning our prayer down, God is telling us that we have a problem. We have a problem that needs to be addressed. We need to take a step back and realign, look at the bigger picture. So, imagine a 22-year-old or anyone, me, you guys drive even. So, driving through Manhattan or driving locally and you're stuck in traffic, hitting every single red light, you're rushing, you need to go. If his father was in charge of the red lights, he'd make sure that his child got wherever he needed to go, whenever he needed to go, and would be in charge of all the green lights. He'd go. But you know what? The kid would take a step back and look, I don't deserve this. Every green light. So fine, red light. If you don't anticipate any help, then you've lost sight of what it means to have Hashem as our Father. So God breaks the flow in order for us to realign and to help us focus. Focus on the fact that Hashem wants everything to be good for you. And when you do that, He'll move mountains and He'll answer prayer that is good for you. 4, be shocked if you don't get it. Nothing God does is an accident. If there are things that don't go smoothly for you, your first reaction should be one of shock. What's going on? Why is God doing this? What message does He want me to get? Even Shemona Esrei is set up in a way that we assume that we will get what we want. First part of Shemona Esrei is Shavach, which is praise. The second part is request, which is Bakasha. And 3 is gratitude, Hoda. You're thanking Hashem for answering all your requests. And Hashem knows how to get our attention. So when we forget that He doesn't give us what we want, or that red light is put in front of us to refocus us, it's being done out of love. But there's one big difference between ignoring Him and being hurt. God is not hurt when we ignore Him, but we are. Our greatest privilege is being in touch with God. That's why He arranges small mishaps to get our attention, because it's all for our own benefit. We may not realize it, but take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture. 5, listen to God's lessons. If you are serious about a relationship with God, then you understand that God is always teaching you, even when He does not answer your prayer in the affirmative way. When life is suddenly full of inconveniences, stop and ask, why is He trying to get my attention? In some ways, this is the most demanding aspect, because it requires us to hold on to a perception that Hashem is our Father, our King, the one above, and the one that has a control, and that everything He does is for our good. Even when we are feeling pain, saying with clarity and conviction, Gamzu Latova, this too is for the good, with no resentment or bitterness. This demonstrates the deepest realization that God is helping us. If we are unable to say Gamzu Latova, with a full and true heart, then it is almost impossible for us to properly hear what God is saying to us. God is very articulate in what he does, but if we lose sight of the fact that he is our Father, and then our relationship is off kilter, and any lesson that we derive won't necessarily be clear. Ooh. With the awareness that Hashem loves us, we can take stock of this area in our life and try to understand what Hashem is trying to tell us. Prayer takes real work into your bones, into your comfort zone, and taking some real deep thoughts that Hashem is the one who loves us. He does everything out of our greater good. Know what you want and why you want it, and ensure that what you are seeking is in fact good for you. Take responsibility and put in your effort. Expect the good and be shocked if things don't go so smoothly. Ask yourself, I'm trying to get my attention. Why is it that this just happened? And lastly, strive to understand the lesson that Hashem is trying to send you. Ask yourself, why is he teaching? What is he teaching me? Applying these tools to daily prayer will transform your relationship with God. Okay, so YouTube. Questions, comments, anything? No? Uh-oh, it's lagging. Okay. Pleasure to have you all. Text me if you need anything, comments, questions, or anything you don't want to say. But it's been good to do this with you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the WhatsApp.